Hello, Twins fans. It's been a while, but welcome back to another episode of From Lee to Limestone. I'm Matt Lenz with Twins Daily, and today I want to look at the projected arbitration numbers from MLB Trade Rumors for our Minnesota Twins this year. Now, again, these are just projections, but over the years, it's gone on to show that MLB Trade Rumors projection model is actually pretty accurate. So these are the numbers that, if ballpark, if not even better, that we can expect for some of our arbitration eligible players to get. And the Twins have quite a few decisions to make. Most of them are pretty easy, but I count maybe 4 or 5 of them that are going to be pretty difficult, and one in particular. Let's look at the easy ones first that you can see here. To me, these are locks: Ryan Jeffers, Bailey Ober, Brock Stewart, Griffin Jacks, Joe Ryan, Trevor Larnach, Joan Duran, and Royce Lewis. In particular, a couple just to mention here: Brock Stewart at $800,000. I don't know how you turn that down. I know he was hurt in 2024, but over the last 2 years that we've had him, he's really had a promising couple of years with the Twins. So I don't know how you turn him down at $800,000. I will mention that Cody Christie recently released an article kind of covering the same topic, and he actually mentioned Joan Duran as one that the Twins might let walk, just due to his 2024 struggles, due to the volatility of a reliever, and that $3.7 million, that's a pretty good value, but that is kind of spendy, especially when you have a self-imposed cap like the Minnesota Twins do. But to me, those are the locks for the Minnesota Twins. But they do have 5 that I think are going to be kind of up in the air. And before I get to this, let's chat payroll real quick. Recently, John Bonus wrote an article about the 2025 payroll, and I think one thing that stood out to me in that article was this comment: significant built-in raises to several key players will require the team to raise payroll if they want to keep the core of this 82-win team intact. So the Twins have said that they are not going to reduce payroll in 2025, but what John is saying here is, due to arbitration numbers and due to existing contracts like Pablo Lopez, there are going to be natural pay raises. And so the payroll is going to naturally increase a little bit unless they, again, start dealing or non-tendering some of these core players that were part of the 2024 team. And so this is where I think the next 5 names are kind of up in the air. I'm going to start with 3 relievers here, and that's Michael Tonkin, Justin Topa, and Jorge Alcala. Now, Tonkin and Alcala at 1.5 and 1.7 million respectively. Pretty good values for relievers. Tonkin in particular had like a 3.44 FIP over almost 80 innings in 2024, so he was actually very good. Alcala at times looked like one of our best relievers, at times looked like one of our worst relievers. So again, it's just a very volatile position to begin with, and that was the case with Alcala. But at $1.7 million and with a lot of the bullpen holes that you have, I don't know how you let Alcala walk for that number. Like I said, that's a pretty good number there. Then we get to Justin Topa at 1.3 million. Not a lot we can say here. He missed most of the 2024 season, but he was one of kind of the key pieces in that Jorge Polanco trade. So it would just be kind of more bad publicity if we let Topa walk. Speaking of that, let's look at Alex Kirilloff, projected for $1.8 million. Another player who had a rough 2024, but he's got that draft status. He's got the prospect pedigree. He was kind of one of the saviors for the Twins when they were doing, the mid 2010s, when they were one of the worst teams in the league year after year. And now it's come to this. Rough 2024 season, dealt with injury, had that weird thing where he was kind of optioned to St. Paul, but never actually showed up there or wasn't in a lineup. And then a while later, he was on a 10-day IL, and that turned into a longer stint than 10 days by quite a bit. Finally returned to St. Paul and lasted less than 1 game and was put on a 60-day IL. So honestly, I wouldn't fault the Twins for letting him walk, but that's just, again, that's going to be more bad publicity because, like I said, kind of coming up with Buxton, he was supposed to be one of the saviors for the Minnesota Twins in that mid-2000s time. And then we get to the big one, Willie Castro, projected for $6.2 million. He's probably been the Twins' most reliable, maybe even best player over the last 2 years with a 729 OPS, 5.6 WAR. Obviously, he can play all over the field, and he plays pretty well at every position. He's maybe a little bit below average in the outfield and maybe average, maybe a little bit above average in the infield. But the fact that you can put him in any of those spots and just kind of rely on him obviously is value in itself. Kind of a Marwin Gonzalez type, if you remember him from, what was it, 2018, 2019 season. But at $6.2 million, again, the Twins have that self-imposed salary cap. I don't know if they're going to make that work. Now, if I'm the Twins, I for sure make that work. He's a fan favorite. And again, he's been a reliable producer for the Twins. Worst case, maybe they kind of go what people thought they did with Kyle Farmer, where they tendered Kyle Farmer for $6 million last year. And a lot of people were thinking, why did you do that? Was that just to trade him? Well, they never ended up trading him. Farmer ended up being one of the key players in September, one of the better players in September. But ultimately, he was on the roster the entire year. Willie Castro, I think, has more value than Kyle Farmer does. He's younger, he's more versatile, he's been producing better, so that maybe is the route to go. You tender him a contract and then you try to trade him to get something out of him. Otherwise, you just non-tender him and you're letting him walk into free agency, and he will be a popular candidate there. That's probably his choice because he will get paid more than $6.2 million in free agency without a doubt. But Twins have a decision to make there. They might call it a business decision, but we'll see what they end up deciding. I want to see Castro in a Twins uniform. I'm sure you do as well, but let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on any of these ARB eligible players. Do you agree with Cody Christie that maybe Joan Duran can be non-tendered, or do you think that he should be kept? What about Willie Castro? What about Alex Kirilloff? Let me know in the comments.